do you do the things you do? I still can't believe that it's true. I get hungry when I think of you. Like champagne and caviar, you're such a treat. Like cherries jubilee, you're oh so sweet. You whet my appetite each time we meet. Oh, James, it's true. I get hungry when I think of you.
Hi, this is the Urban Peasant. Now, sometimes you want to cook dinner and you've got nothing in the house but a can of salmon. Now, I'm not going to knock a can of salmon, because when I was a kid, it was our great big Sunday treat. We had it for tea every Sunday, with a little bit of brown bread, and it was a big, big deal. And you should, but there's other things to do with it. I mean, I like to eat it just right out of the can. I'll stand there when I'm hungry and just eat salmon out of the can. But try it this way. This is a very English thing to do too. You got some canned salmon, and you got some leftover mashed potatoes. Now, you can't get much more basic than that, right? And so we put equal parts of mashed potatoes with a can of salmon. And then, you know what we do with onions. We're always doing with onions. Well, here we are, we'll cut up an onion. And this time, we want to cut it up nice and fine, because we don't want it, we're not going to cook it in advance. We're going to cook it in the fish cakes, and we're going to have it nice little crunchy, nutty bits inside there. So just get this onion, look, chop it up, cut it longwise, turn it sideways, cut it like that, and it's small enough then. It's small. Cut it longwise, turn it sideways, and that's sort of nice and small, okay? So there we are, a good handful of fine chopped onion in with the mashed potatoes and the salmon. Next thing you need is pepper. Now put lots of pepper in. Pepper is very good for you. It's very good for your circulation, very good for your libido. It's very good for all kinds of wonderful things. And if you use fresh ground pepper, it's much better for you than previously ground pepper. You just mash it all together so it all starts to change color a little bit, right? See, it's all turning into, you don't need gourmet tools for this. All you really need is just to stand there and do it until it feels right. I mean, you don't have to look, you can do it with your eyes closed if you like. And sometimes I teach blind people to cook, and I'm absolutely amazed at the sense of feeling they develop and the enormous sense of smell they develop. I'll tell you about that one day, how they cook with their noses. And here we are, we want to bind it together. So we put an egg in. Now we're going to beat the egg. We could beat it in advance. There's not much point in it. And we just stir it in there, and there it is. There's our mashed potatoes, fish cake, all ready to go. You want to make it look pretty? All right, put some parsley in. Parsley is nice, but parsley, like everything else, you just have to chop up. So chop it up, put it in there. That's all there is to it. A little bit of salt. Now, this is enough maybe in the salmon. And then, there it is, it's ready to go. We'll turn the fire on, put that up there, and we will get it ready to go. Now, if you want to bread things, breading is not as complicated as people think it is. If you want to bread things, get yourself an egg. Let's put it in this bowl so you can see. And you just get yourself an egg and beat it up with a fork. Now, beating it up with a fork isn't, you know, you don't have to get the machinery out. And then you get some breadcrumbs. If you want to be different, you get some cornmeal. Now, if you're going to make these things into fish cakes, you just put a little bit of that in there, turn it over in the egg, and then, see, I'm not getting my left hand dirty. I'm not dirty, I'm just not getting it messy. And I just turn that over and sprinkle it with breadcrumbs. Here we are, with a little bit of oil in the pan. Don't need much. And take this fish cake out of the breadcrumbs and put it into the hot oil. Just pat it down like that. That's all you got to do. Don't get your fingers in there, because if you get your fingers in there, you'll get egg on them. All right? Just turn it over and put it into the breadcrumbs. You can put it in the cornmeal if you want to. There it is. Now, as soon as it's in the breadcrumbs, it's nice and dry and handleable. So you just put it in there and pat it down, and you've got yourself fish cakes, right? Now that's easy. Let's make one more of those. They don't have to be, nothing fussy about them. These take about 10 minutes from beginning to end before you can have them on the table. And this is the reason why ketchup was invented. Ketchup and fish cakes is absolutely fantastic.
An epic story continues as we recall an empire unequaled in human history. The Mongol hordes, a storm from the east. Tonight at 9 on TLC.
How is the pasta?
Almost as good as the DiGiorno pasta we had the other night at home.
DiGiorno.
Refrigerated pastas and sauces.
See, you use big chunks of diced tomato and sliced mushroom just like DiGiorno.
And these tortellini have almost as much ricotta and Romano cheese as DiGiorno.
You are too kind.
Hey, you're not serving DiGiorno here now, are you?
Certainly not.
Too bad.
For restaurant fresh taste, you can make reservations or make DiGiorno. And now, enjoy the fresh taste of DiGiorno shredded Parmesan.
Right, now here's another real just before payday dish, okay? This is a great one. This is semi-Korean. This has got great obligations to Korean cooking because there's a lot of sesame oil used, and this is what we do. So it's dead easy. First of all, these fish cakes, I'm gonna flip them over. See, they're nice and crusty and brown, whoops, on the bottom, and they just need the other side to cook. And I'm going to move them over here so that they'll be out of the way. And they will, let me fire this one, whoops. And just get them to cook gently on there, all right? Now, take another pan. You don't have to have a wok to cook Oriental food. You can just cook. And you put it on, and you get a little bit of oil ready. And you get your ingredients ready. Now, once again, you need an onion, all right? I've got some left over from the last dish. So there's a bit of onion cut up coarsely. We need a little bit of ginger to give it flavor. So once again, don't peel the ginger, just cut it up. And if you want it fine, cut it up finer. And a little bit of oil. Couple tablespoonfuls of oil in there. The first thing we put in is the ginger. I'm going to put the ginger in first because what it does is start to perfume the whole house. It smells like cooking ginger and it's quite wonderful. And the flavor gets into the oil and you just stir it around a little bit so you can hear it. Doesn't need fancy equipment. You can do this in a fry pan, an iron fry pan, anything you got. It's nice to have a nice non-stick fry pan, but onions go in. All right, and now the cabbage. Now the preparation of a cabbage is a very complicated business. You cut it in half. You need a degree in mathematics for this, and if you don't get it right, then you don't get any marks. So you cut out the core. You can see where the core is, look. So we got rid of the core, and that goes in the compost. And then you just cut the cabbage up coarsely. just cut it up coarsely. And then stir this all around. See, the heat's up high. Put the fan on, all right, and dump in the cabbage. We'll put in some more because there's going to be a lot of us. This is a real money saver of a dish, this one. Bit more cabbage in there. And when you're going to stir fry something, toss it around a little bit so it gets coated with the oil. We'll just turn that down a little bit. There. And just toss it around so it gets coated with the oil. And then, to keep it green and keep it crisp, you dust it with a little bit of salt. The salt, this is what happens in Chinese restaurants. A little bit of salt in the wok. Well, this is not a wok, this is just cabbage. It's just going to cook in the oil and the ginger and the onion. And you can see how it's starting to look moist. And it doesn't need a great deal of work. It just needs to start to look a little bit moist. And as soon as it's got to start to cook and it smells good, you just say, well, there it is for a little while. Now, if you want to put a little liquid in, you can. It depends on the cabbage. I don't put a lot of liquid in because cabbages have got a lot of moisture in them to start off with. So we're just going to toss that over like that. Minimal cooking, minimal cooking. And what we do with it then, we said it was cabbage and salmon, so we open the can of salmon and without any further ado, we dump it in there like that. And then it breaks up quite naturally. You just get it in there so that the juices go in with the cabbage. And you don't overcook anything. Just break it up, and when you're going to finish it, you're going to finish the flavor of it. A little bit of onion, a little bit of cabbage, a little bit, that's what you do. You take it, you put it on a plate, and the trick is always in presentation of things. You put it on a plate, and you tart it up a little bit so people can see the salmon on the top, and then you get some sesame oil, and you carefully sprinkle sesame oil over the top, because if you cook with sesame oil, it doesn't taste very good. So here we are. That's it. Cabbage and salmon. I'll be right back.
When's the last time you tried Ovaltine?
My kids drink it every day. They don't like plain milk, but they love Ovaltine. Whoever said things had to taste bad to be good for you?
Just 2 glasses of classic Ovaltine and milk contain more than 10 essential vitamins and minerals, almost 100% of the daily recommended allowance of all these important nutrients.
Ovaltine brings back wonderful memories, and the whole family loves the taste.
Classic Ovaltine tastes great, and it's great for you.
Need a prescription filled right away? Don't drive. Just call 1-800-433-5900 for the Mail Order Pharmacy, the nation's most technically advanced discount pharmacy. Order all your prescription drugs by phone at huge savings from registered doctors of pharmacy backed by a nationwide computer network. All orders are shipped within 24 hours directly to you. Wherever you are, the Mail Order Pharmacy is just a phone call away. Call 1-800-433-5900 for free details.
This weekend on the Learning Channel, curl up and relax in the country charm and cozy comforts of America's favorite inns. Sample the elegance and art of the finest in culinary splendor. And for the romantic at heart, rediscover the scenic wonder of North America's waterways. It's an evening of fine living. Saturday nights beginning at 8 Eastern, 9 Pacific on the Learning Channel. Brought to you by Gallo. It's time for a change to Gallo.
I'm just cutting up a little bit of ginger. Julienne is the word. Look, see, little matchsticks of ginger. That's what julienne is called, all right? And I'm doing that so I can cook the asparagus. Now to cook the asparagus, what I do is turn on the heat under the pan, and I put in about half a cup, maybe, you know, a third of a cup of water, just so I got a little bit of water in there. And then I put a little bit of olive oil in there, about a couple tablespoonfuls, and I just get it going, and I take this asparagus. Now you don't have to break, like, you know how we break each one separately. Well, you don't have to. You can break the whole lot. And they're all different lengths, but that's the way God makes asparagus. It's all different, right? So we've got the asparagus, we've got the water, and the oil, all cooking together in this pan. And we put the asparagus in there and just sprinkle it very lightly with little tiny, maybe a little tiny bit of salt, just to keep it nice and green. All right? And that is going to cook in there, and this is a way of cooking they call à la grecque. Greeks don't do this, but the French call it à la grecque, Greek fashion. I don't know why they do it, but that's the way they do it. See how the asparagus is all nice and bright, and the water's going to evaporate, the steam will cook the asparagus, and it will all be done nicely. While that cooks, I'm just going to put in the ginger, because that'll give it some flavor too. And then I'll just toss that around so it gets into the water. And there we are, asparagus cooking à la grecque. And see how nice and green it's staying because we put that little sprinkle of salt on. You don't put lemon juice on to start off with, because if you put lemon juice on vegetables that are cooking, then, you know, they are, if you put lemon juice on vegetables while they're cooking, they go black. This stove, you know how yours clicks sometimes? Well, mine sometimes does it too. And what I better do now, I'll get myself a plate and take out these fish cakes, which are now cooked, and we'll put one in there, and one there, and one there. And I'm going to make a salsa for these in just a minute, but they're there, they're ready to go, and we can get on with that. Now, we're going to make this asparagus salad and salmon salad, and if we're going to do that, we need some salmon. So, once again, we better open it. I thought we were going to start the show with 1 can of salmon. We finished up with 3. So, there's the salmon. Now, I'm just going to drain this off into a bowl, because this time we don't want the juices. Cats love this. You put this on breadcrumbs and they really, really like it. My cat stands there going, "Meow," all the time when I open salmon like this. And so we'll keep that ready to go. We'll get ourselves another nice plate down here. Here's an even better one. There's a really nice looking plate. Okay. Now this asparagus has been in here about 3 minutes, and it's just starting, let me see if I can fish from that, to look a little bit limp. You don't want it any more, you don't want it completely limp, and you don't want it, you know, you just want it a little bit limp. Now we can move it, and we'll take it over here, and we'll put it, I wonder if I got something better to get this out of here with. Here's not that thing, this is a good thing. Okay, here we are, a pair of tweezers. We'll lay those on there. And it's nice if you can keep all the stalks pointing the same way, because then it saves you a lot of hassling around making it look pretty in the end. And it's making food look pretty that's just as important as cooking it. You make it look pretty. And here, let me see what we can do with this. We just fan this out like this, and we'll fan it all out so it looks sort of around that. And then we get our can of salmon, and we put that on there like that. And don't make any, you know, you're not making any excuses for this. This is a can of salmon, because people are going to say, "Why aren't you clever when you do this?" And then we make a dressing for it. How do we make a dressing? Well, we get this little bowl that we've got here. We put a couple spoonfuls of yogurt in there, like that. We put some green dill on the top of it, a little bit of lemon juice, and a little bit of sesame oil. Okay, and then we stir it all together. See, and all of a sudden, it starts to look nice. You can do it with a fork, you can do it with a spoon, you can do it with your finger. You just do it. And then, there let's make that look really pretty in there. And then you take this dressing, and you pour it around there like that. And then, what's to go backwards? There you are, like that. And we've got ourselves another dish that we made. I mean, it can't be much easier than that.
Explore the recipes and writings of James Barber by ordering your copy of the Urban Peasant Cookbook. James Barber's anecdotes and tips, together with his fast, simple, and affordable recipes, create much more than a cookbook. To receive your copy, send $18.95 to the Urban Peasant, P.O. Box 2284, South Burlington, Vermont, 05407 2284. Or charge by phone, 1-800-322-8321.
We get lots of suggestions like this on how to help folks tell our Idaho potatoes from those others. Thanks, but we'll keep the seal on the bag. So look for it, because if it's not from Idaho, it's just a spud.
One taste of the ocean spray cranberry and people will say just about anything.
Sweet tarts. Sweet tarts.
Wow.
Wow. Sweet tart.
The sweet tart taste of ocean spray cran drinks. It's amazing what a little cran can do. And with 100% vitamin C and nothing artificial, they're good for you too. Amazing.
Tonight on the Learning Channel, recall an empire unequaled in human history. They terrorized Europe, conquered the Chinese, building a civilization that would change the world forever. Now look back on the followers of Genghis Khan and their era of conquest, the Mongol hordes a storm from the east. Continuing tonight at 9 on the Learning Channel.
What am I doing? I'm whipping cream. And you know why I'm whipping it down here? Because I'm not holding my breath while I'm doing it. I mean, you hold your breath, don't you? That's why people don't whip cream. Do it down there. You hold it up here and you got to do that. So whip it down here and you got whipped cream. What am I whipping cream for? I'm whipping cream to make a nice dessert. It's called strawberry fool. It's very big in England. I was going to make raspberries, but I got strawberries. And what I got is frozen strawberries. And just put them in the whipped cream. I mean, it's this simple, right? And stir it in. Beat it around, break up the strawberries, because they're nice and cold. They make everything nice and cold, and they'll look pretty. Now, the more you beat them, the pinker it will get. If you want lumps in it, if you want lumps, then okay, you got lumps. If you don't want lumps, beat it fine. It all depends on how you like it. And that's really all you got to do. If you think it's not sweet enough, then put a little sugar on it. That's your decision. But in the meantime, we've got strawberry fool. We get a couple of nice glasses, and we just put strawberry fool in the nice glasses. You can do this just before people come in to dinner. There you are. And if you want to make it look pretty, you get yourself a flower. Doesn't matter what kind of flower you get. I mean, you can put a whole big one in there, like that. Or you can put a little one to lie in it, like that. But whatever you do, you got it. Now, I told you I was going to make a salsa. So this is how you make a salsa in a hurry. Get some onion, and you chop it up fine. You get a bit of green pepper, and you chop it up fine. You get a bit of red pepper, and you chop it up fine. I mean, this is dead easy. Chop it all up, get it mixed up together, put it in a bowl like that, put some oil on it, put a little cayenne pepper on it to give it some heat, just a little bit. Toss it all up with a fork or a spoon, whatever you got. You got salsa, and that goes through there. That's fish cakes and salsa. That's what we do. So there you are. That's everything's done. And away we go. We're finished right now, dinner. If you like these recipes to put in your recipe box, write us at Post Office Box 5157, Vancouver, British Columbia. Postal code is V6B4B2.